So, guys, it's the week after the Derby. How's everyone feeling?
Ugh.
I'm in hell.
Oh, man. That was a rough fucking week, huh?
Man, it's just for me to put in as much effort as I did. For me to put in as much effort as I did for the Derby to like just really suck. Like that's always a real kick in the beans.
Yeah. I mean, I had Medina Spirit to win, so I guess I shouldn't be feeling all that bad.
Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, I just like wagered it like a donk. Actually, I did. I did the. Do we talk about what?
Well, if you were like 30 minutes earlier to get into Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, the 55-1, the 55-1.
Because I think we were all going to Venmo you money because we all wanted $100 on Medina prior to San Diego
55-1. I even had to confirm.
55-1.
When you say you bet it like a donk, you mean that you bet it like a that was carrying just loads of cash like a fat tourist to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, right? Like that's what you mean, like a donkey carrying all the money that you put on Medina Spirit?
No. So what I did was
that is too bad.
Played the pick six, and then got beat by Jackie's Warrior in the second leg, and decided that I was not going to play a pick four. That Bob Baffert horse that I liked in that turf race ran off the screen, or it didn't really run off the screen, but he won. And then I decided to play the pick three instead, and the pick three ended up paying like $150 because of the dead heat. Whereas the pick four with the horse I really liked in the first leg paid like $800 for 50 cents. So yeah, I messed that one up.
I would really love to know what the wonderful track maintenance crew in the land of Churchill Downs did immediately prior to the Jackie's Warrior race that made that track go from being somewhat fair to being the most goddamn speed favoring conveyor belt I think I've ever seen.
I mean, it happens every year.
I know
That's
it does,
so
and I should
frustrating.
know.
There was so much speed in that race that I didn't bet any speed. Like, you know how much speed that means that there has to be, because even if I think a race is going to melt, sometimes I'm like, well, I got to toss the speed in there. But there was so like I wouldn't have.
I mean, weren't the top four finishers top four at every call?
I think so.
Whiskey double closed the 7. Yeah. He was probably the best horse in the race, but
Bezos was 5th. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, that's the Derby, but yeah. Are you talking Derby or Pat Day? Sorry,
I was talking Derby.
Oh yeah. No, I think you're right about that.
Yeah, I mean they were right about, and that's just not an interesting race to watch. It's not an interesting race to bet. It's whoever breaks and gets to the lead, and yeah, and none of us saw Medina being uncontested on the lead. So.
I still need to Rock Your World missed the break.
That's what I was going to say. Is I need to go back and actually watch the replay to see how much of an impact the Rock Your World and what Essential Quality bumped into him too, right?
Yeah, they could have. I think Rock Your World took the best of it. Rosario had his foot out of the irons. There's top down footage that shows that. So it looks like he wasn't quite prepped for the break. And his horse sort of broke a half step slow, got beat around, shuffled back, and then Medina had no pace pressure and game set match.
Yeah, I in no world did I expect that horse to be on the lead, and not only that, nor did I expect it to be able to handle the distance. I am going to say one positive about Medina Spirit, and that positive is I do think the horse has guts. I think the horse definitely has heart. I mean, you can look at. I wasn't really that impressed by the Robert B. Lewis, but now when I look back at it and see what what he did to kind of keep fighting throughout that, and then he was in a throwdown with Mandaloon too late. I really kind of figured he was going to pack it up and Mandaloon was going to pass, but
isn't he at this point, hasn't Medina been horribly exposed as a desperate need the lead type though? I mean, isn't 100. Yeah. So as soon as you get somebody, so now that everybody knows that, somebody goes out and presses him, and he's gonna throw it, turn to a wet paper towel in the stretch.
Yeah, but who's gonna?
Yeah, I know who's got that kind of speed. Rock Your World, I guess.
Well, no, but I mean, who's actually going to do it in the Preakness? Like, I need to see the Preakness.
Oh no, I don't think anyone. I don't think anyone will in the Preakness. But I don't know if we can get the distance in the Belmont.
So
I feel like
he's not running the Travers.
I feel like we did a disservice to our fans because we didn't talk about this, and this probably would have shed a little bit more light, I think, on just how good of a chance we thought Medina Spirit should have had. Chase, are you aware of the procedure that Medina Spirit had?
What's that?
Was it a glottis transplant?
Yeah, it was. It was actually he actually had throat surgery to fix his epiglottis.
But was it a legitimate?
Legitimately had throat surgery.
Was it a legitimate transplant? Did he in fact have Omaha Beach's glottis?
I remember.
Fuck.
I remember we were talking.
That's a championship. That is the glottis of a champ. God,
that's the belt of glottises.
I don't remember if we talked about it. I don't remember if we talked about it because he had that surgery like right before I think the Santa Anita Derby, and I think everyone just kind of was after Rock Your World ran off the screen, like everyone just forgot, like, oh, whatever. But yeah, the horse had breathing problems, and they did that, and I thought it was kind of funny because there was somebody somebody who was on Twitter was like, how come nobody knew about this throat surgery? And it's like, well, I think a lot of people knew about it. But then Rock Your World ran off the screen, and everyone just forgot about Medina Spirit. So, but
yeah, there's always a championship glottis breaking in period, and it just turns out that it was the Santa Anita Derby.
Is this going to be the second year in a row that? I mean, is this the second year in a row that Bob Baffert won the Derby with probably the third best horse in his barn?
Yeah,
it does appear so. It does appear that is the case.
Yeah. That horse is 100% not as good as Life is Good or Concert Tour. It's just that Concert Tour is too one-dimensional and can't get the distance. But talent-wise, he's a better horse.
If I was ever going to root for a Baffert horse, like a horse like Medina Spirit would probably be the one. I mean, cheap purchase price, small barn, small owner, Florida bred. I mean, it's not your typical, $800,000 WinStar Baffert horse. So I mean, it makes it want to puke a little bit less. But
what about Du Jour?
We both like that horse. I mean,
we did.
I'm happy the horse won.
I remember. I believe Mark and I we were on before the stream last week, and I told Mark, I'm like, Mark, I got to tell you something. I think I like a Baffert horse on a turf, and I think he's might be the best horse in the race. And Mark's like, I think I might kind of agree with you, and it's a little scary. So,
and the funny part was then we get on stream, and you called me before Caleb, so I went to the set horse I like second best because I like Du Jour the best because I didn't want Caleb beating me up about liking a Baffert on turf. So, yeah.
It was
5-1. How was that horse 5-1? I was screaming at
I found myself a little less mad about Medina Spirit winning than I was about Authentic winning because it really just like the quintessential fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Like, I should have seen that shit coming. And I know it's so easy to say in hindsight, but come on. Like, we even made jokes about it. Like, if we made jokes about it, it wouldn't happen. It's like...
Oh man, yeah.
It's like sitting in a bunker and being like, "Oh yeah, there's no way a mortar's gonna fall in here, not on this group of assholes." And then a fucking mortar just drops right into the bunker.
I believe I've seen a Call of Duty game that starts like that.
I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, Medina Spirit didn't ruin my weekend. Fucking Mandaloon ruined my weekend. Like that horse, could not have been more against. And the fact that he held on for second and nearly won, I mean, ought to tell you everything you need to know about what the track was doing that day, because I think dosage index is kind of a hokey pokey, crusty old boomer metric these days that nobody really uses. But,
I say dosage like a real asshole.
Yeah, but if you believe in that, his was like 11. Like, you want to be at a 4 for the record, and his was literally the only one in the field with double digits. I mean, there's nothing to suggest that horse can go that far, and somehow, I mean, he does. So I don't know if maybe Brad Cox mixed up the feeding buckets for Essential Quality and Mandaloon before the race, or what happened. But that really
Brad Cox was big mad after the Derby, because they were hyping him up. At least I was watching the NBC broadcast. I don't know what you guys.
The NBC broadcast was abysmal, but
yeah, they were hyping him up, and then they just like watched him, and he just like walked away. He just like walked off. He like left. So that was
Mandaloon was so much more forwardly placed than I figured Mandaloon would be. I thought Mandaloon was going to kind of sit off a little bit more. But then again, I bet you, I mean, there's got to be like a audible or a hot route that the trainer calls. It's like, all right, Essential Quality probably should be on the lead, but if he's not there, fucking go,
Yeah. What about Oaks Day? How was Oaks Day for you guys?
I just couldn't connect. I think I 4 or 5'd both pick 5s I played. That early play paid a small house. And just couldn't kind of link anything together that day. It was for me, it was a really bad weekend all the way around.
I was right about Malthought, but it's not like that was a hard one to get to or a big price that came in. I was not right about much. Like, this probably ended up being my worst Derby weekend since I've been a horse player.
I think I've already eliminated the Oaks from my memory. I was right about Malthought, thinking she could be a single. She ran really good. I think the rest of it I've just banished from my memory already. So,
but Chad ran second that I liked. Just throwing it out there.
Oh, nice. What are you paying the pick 5?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was probably my second biggest losing day, I think, in my history playing horses, which, I mean, it's only been a couple of years, but part of that was, I think, and you guys this has probably happened to you guys, but part of it was, I think, because I was on track, and I was on track, and the worst part about being on track is I wasn't playing in cash either. I was playing on EDW, and I was drinking heavily. So I think just all three of those things combined to just be just an awful combination.
How many times did you accidentally try to text one of the horses, "Hey, you up? What up? You up?"
No,
hey,
that didn't happen at all.
Hey, girl. Hey, Malthought. You up?
But I was just, like I said, I was firing away on Friday. And then I realized on Saturday, hey, you idiot, you shouldn't do that. And then that's why I didn't play back to pick 4. That probably would have gotten me unstuck for the weekend, but it is what it is. Let's take a look at chat here. John Massey, he is just, sticking to it. Same thing he said on the podcast. G1 stakes are chalky plus Bafferts. Road Warrior says, oh yeah, this is a good point. Essential Quality covered 68 feet more than the winner. And the second and third place horses also should have beaten the 8 on ground loss. So, yeah. And that's what happens. That's what happens when you get stuck out wide in the Derby. I mean, you're not talking about getting put out in the 4 or 5 path. You're talking 8 to 10 path you might get put out. So that makes things much more difficult. Road Warriors are sticking with the Naira. He's going with Chad and Baltimore. But sorry, Caleb, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, I mean, Essential Quality was wide for sure and may have been the best horse in the race, but he wasn't wide because he was unlucky or had a bad trip. I mean, Saez rode the horse like he was a even money favorite, and if he avoids all trouble, he wins, and he just wasn't. I mean, he's kind of was the horse we thought he was. He was a nice horse that wasn't that much better than the rest of the field. And I think he kind of got exposed when you can't make up an extra 60 feet going 1.25 miles against that field. I mean, you just kept him wide almost intentionally. I watched the race a few times, and I know Brad Cox was kind of crying about it, but I mean, clearly he didn't try to save ground, and that's what happens.
But the entire weekend too, saving ground was not was not the winning strategy. I mean, especially if you looking at Oakstay. Oakstay, if you ran that pocket trip, that kind of stalking behind the early pace on the rail, you were done. You were just donezo. And I'm not sure how much of it carried into the Derby, into Derby Day and later into the Derby Day card itself. But you have to think that probably played a little bit into the decision making. But I don't know. I've never ridden a horse, nor have I given jockey instructions. Well, I have ridden a horse. I've just never ridden a horse competitively in a sanctioned event, at least.
I will say that the rail, at least all of Oakstay in the early part of Derby Day, was terrible. It was playing very deep.
Yeah.
So does that kind of stick in the back of Saz's head that hey, I need to be a little bit wide because the inside's bad. I'm better to be in the sixth path than I am to potentially get stuck in pinch and need to go through on the rail where you can't.
And if that's the case, you can't ride the horse like it's the best horse in the race. You actually need to hustle that horse out, which I know he got the bump from Rock Your World. That's fair. But you have to hustle that horse out. And if the path is that big of a deal and you have a horse that can run on the front end, then you hustle that horse out and you actually pick your path.
John Massey's saying he was just slower away than the horses on the inside.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Caleb, I think that fixed it.
You managed to get all the lube off.
Ultimate
from your other streaming stuff.
Yeah. It keeps kicking in and out. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah. Oh well. Oh, here we go. Cameraman Wilkie saying if he ever buys a horse, Chase will be his first choice of jockey.
Just as long as you keep buying me new pants after I shit the pair that I'm wearing. I've seen the GoPros of jockeys riding horses, and that shit is terrifying.
Oh man. Well, why don't we take a look? Why don't we take a look at a race here? We're gonna take a look at Belmont Park. We have the traditional week after Derby, Man o' War Day. We got a couple great stakes coming up with the Grade 1 Man o' War being the feature, and Caleb dodged probably 8 or 9 of his top 10 most hated horses. I only see one true top 10 anti-Caleb horse in that race. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, we'll start here with the Grade 3 Run Happy, 6 furlongs here on the main track. You do have a horse that owes me a ton of money in Chateau here, the 3. And then you got your morning line favorite, the 4 Frenzy Fire at 4-5 here on the morning line. But Mark, you live in New York. You live and breathe New York. I'll let you start it here. Tell me how Chateau doesn't just wire this thing.
Yeah, I think on paper Chateau just wires this thing. But the problem is we're not playing on paper. I mean, Chateau should get stupidly loose in here. But Chateau is sort of
we're not playing.
Wait, what? Huh? What?
We're not playing on paper. Oh God,
we're apparently not playing on paper. Caleb does give me shit.
Not on paper.
No, I mean Chateau in here.
Shit, you just opened my eyes.
Yeah, I know, craziness, right? Chateau should get stupidly loose here, but Chateau is kind of a aqueduct specialist. Is over 3 at Belmont, tons and tons and tons of speed. Should get stupid loose. Should wire this field, but then you kind of get into that. Does the horse handle Belmont, and does the horse handle this classy of a field? Because I don't, okay, Wendell Fong, I guess, but really, who was in that Tom Fool? And I think then the next most logical horse you get into is somebody like Frenzy Fire. And there's a bit of weather that could potentially roll into Belmont on Saturday. They're not calling for a ton of rain, but they're calling for enough rain that I think Frenzy Fire is a little suspect if there's any moisture in the track at all. He's 5'8" at Belmont lifetime, but he hates an off track. You look at his off track goings, they are just historically terrible. So those are the 2 likeliest horses. And then you get kind of trying to create a horse that makes some sense and you can get to after that. And I think it gets a little bit hard. So I don't really know how you play this race. I ended up with Chateau as an A. I ended up with Frenzy Fire as a B. Then kind of buying the races C's, but I Yeah, I want to do, I think like Josh, I probably want to look at this race and go, it's Chateau's race to lose. But I kind of find there's a bunch of holes you can poke in the two favorites that seem like pretty big ones.
I've got a thought here, and that is
First time ever?
Not an unfair assessment. I think you have to play a little bit of jockey speculation games here, and I think what you need to do is take a look at the 5 drafted and and see who we got in the irons. And I think that's the horse that if anybody is going to keep Chateau from going gate to wire, and trying to, it's going to be a horse that runs a little bit out of its character and presses and sends a little bit fast, sends right off the bat. I feel like drafted's a little bit of a question mark. I mean, you've got a lot of races in Dubai, then you show up for like Winter Duct, and then you've got a long layoff. I mean, you could have that performance at Aqueduct could be due by bounce. It could also be that the horse just really isn't that talented, but there's still a little bit of a gray area where we can't definitively say that one of those is definitely the case. I do think that Chateau probably wires this. It feels like Chateau feels like the horse of now. Firenze Fire feels like the horse of like last summer, 2 summers ago. And I'm not sure if it's, 6-year-old season, if it's going to be the same horse. I know you're with Kelly Breen and everything, and then it's by far, just dripping in back class and has all those things going for it. I think Chateau might just be faster. If I were going to play this, might even consider throwing Firenze Fire out of an exacta and trying to play Chateau over like Stan the Man or Town Classic down on the inside, because I feel like whoever tries to go with Chateau more than likely falls off. Now, does whoever goes with Chateau soften up Chateau enough that another horse could get on top? Maybe. I mean, if you get drafted out there who's just, hard on the engine with Saez, then I think that's your best chance to beat him. But I personally think it's Chateau unless my tinfoil hat angle pops up.
Yeah, I don't have anything creative to add here. I think Chateau wins the race. I think 7 furlongs is just too far, which he did last time in the Carter. So I think cutting back to 6 hits this horse right where he wants to be. Firenze Fire is the other horse that I think you probably need to use in horizontals, depending what you like elsewhere in the sequence. This horse loves Belmont, even though he may have lost half a step post-service, but he's still a nice horse, and there's no monsters in this field. Those are the only 2 that I'm interested in. I won't have anybody else on any tickets, I don't think.
I'm going to take the Ben Wilkie route, and I'm going to say single Chateau and move on. But last time he told me to do that, I think Chateau lost. So congrats, Firenze Fire, on winning the Grade 3 Run Happy. I'm going to take the horse that's going to get loose on the lead 6 furlongs. I mean, I don't know. I think we've talked that one to death. So let's move on to race 6 here. The Bugay, whatever. Or it's John Massey, I'm sure he'll chime in. But we're going to be going mile and 16th here on the turf for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. And like my favorite turf horse going is in this race. So I will also be, there'll be another single here for me, and it's going to be on the 1, Harvey's LaGoyle.
You just like saying the name. You don't even
I
like
just love
that.
saying the name. I love saying the name, but it was also, I believe it was also American Pharoah's first G1 winner, right?
It's like Caleb with Moisey.
Chelsea Moisey. She's the best.
Moisey, baby.
Well, now what the Man of War lacks in horses that Caleb hates, I think this one makes up a little bit. Because I do see the number 3, Nay Lady Nay, who I know Caleb is a staunch play against on at all times. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess who's the other short price in here? Civil Union,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure, but I don't know.
And I
like,
mean, look at this monster that's shipping in from Ireland for Chad too. I mean, you've got a multiple Group 1 winner. I think Group 2. I see at least in
Group 2, Group 3. Leminstra's the real deal. She's not getting Lasix, which you do tend to like to see these getting Lasix first time in the Chad barn. But Arad obviously is on
speedball.
Yeah, Arad was on Nay Lady Nay last time out and hops over to Leminstra. So I would imagine this is the real deal and this is the real Chad. I think the 5-2 morning line would be kind of a gift.
Isn't the horse too slow?
Yeah, on time form, but I've seen this story before where Chads that are too slow on time form in Europe come to the United States and suddenly improve 20 points.
Have you seen it without Lasix though?
I don't know if I've seen it without Lasix, and I think that's a very valid question in this case. So, I guess there's yeah.
I'll let Chase finish in 2 seconds. I know he still had a thought, but this was my question: was like, horse would scream bled to me last out off that 4 consecutive wins and then 10th by 33, and then comes to North America and goes in Chad's barn, but no Lasix. So like I don't know what to do anymore without the Lasix in stakes racing. It makes horses like this very tough for me to figure out.
So first of all, I think that this, with such a short field, might end up being the most competitive stakes race on the card. Like this is a loaded race for 6 horses. And the only horse that I could really just toss right out of the gate was Platinum Painter. I think it's going to be probably a Chad. I think the Chad shipper monster looks super tough. I kind of like maybe trying to take a creative approach and trying Thankful with for Pletcher. You got the American Pharaoh it's trying grass for the second time, but it was I believe its first career race, a maiden race at Gulfstream with a brush the gate, and I want to see what the Pharaoh baby can do on turf again, at this distance. Like I feel like that could be, if there is just some sort of extraordinary surprise or even any sort of price to be produced out of this race, which I mean, it's a wide open race, unless like what is it, La Mista? Is that the name of the? Unless it makes me think of Happy Gilmore. Mista. Unless that horse just is like 1 to 5, I really feel like the money is going to be pretty equally spread to everyone, but that Painter horse, Platinum Painter. But yeah. I mean, I would take a shot with Thankful. My head says that this Chad Brown horse is going to just romp because it's kind of just what they do. Even though the no Lasix is a pretty good catch by Mark there. The Chad Brown Speedball. They show up, add Lasix, and then they just they're frothing and tongues hanging out of their mouth, and they just run like fucking Studley champion horses.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what Road Warrior was saying. He was asking if there's any chance of Luis pulling the old steal the race with the impossible horse on the outside.
I'm not sure. Is Thankful fast enough to get the lead in here? I think somebody like Platinum Painter probably gets the lead.
Well, I mean, we don't know. It's all speculation based on.
Exactly. Based on, we don't really know. On paper, Platinum Painter is a little faster.
Races aren't run on paper. I think Chase has
got notes on that like 4 times in the past 20 minutes.
Chase has got notes on that. Here we go.
On paper.
Not on paper. Yeah.
This is good. This really is gonna help me out, Mark. I'm glad you said that.
I thought Thankful was actually super interesting in here. A horse that, you're getting a massive price. You're getting Sayers up for Pletcher. Todd Pletcher doesn't just stick horses in races just to kind of, see. He's somebody that, spots his horses pretty well. So he's taking a shot here thinking this one is live, and Sayers decides to take them out. So
it's not like when we saw Finnick the Fierce in a turf race a couple weeks ago, and it just smacked of like, fuck, I guess we'll fucking try this. I mean, might as well do something. So this feels a little bit more deliberate.
This horse actually has pedigree that says he should handle turf.
I guess I'm the only one that thinks this is exactly like Finnick the Fierce, and we spent a lot of money on this horse, and we don't really know what to do with her anymore. I mean, yeah, she did debut on turf, ran like shit, put her on dirt. She won a couple bad races, and then really hasn't done anything. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's pedigree on the top for turf, but out of the 8 starters the dam had, I mean, they had 7 winners, 3 stakes winners, and 0 turf winners. So I'm not totally sure this horse is going to love turf. It didn't like turf in the debut. And I mean, the horse is 30-1. I'm not going to beat him up over taking the. I mean, you're not going to get anywhere near that. But
then like 30-1 in a 6-horse field.
Yeah, I mean that's silly. The horse will be 15-1 or something like that, 12-1. But I don't think the horse. I want nothing to do with it. I think it's chalky. I think it's Harvey's Little Goyle is your winner. I do have interest in Civil Union. She had a bit of a rough trip in the Breeders' Cup, but she was really on a tear leading up to that. And then I don't know what to do with the Chad, the 2-horse. I know exactly what to do with the Chad, the 3-horse, which is to throw that horse the fuck out. That's a fake Chad. That's I think that's the horse that I created the word fake Chad off of, actually. But the 2, I mean, it remains to be seen. Irad getting up with the way he's riding right now, you probably can't afford to let him beat you. But I think it's fairly chalky. I had a fleeting interest in maybe Platinum Painter stealing this on the lead, but I think the horse is just too cheap. And even someone who loves cheap speed as much as Josh didn't take this horse, I'm not sure I can go there.
That's a red flag. I don't know if you guys play poker, but they call that a tell.
Yeah, Lady Nay is half to Sister Charlie, right?
Yes.
You can tell which half got the talent.
This is also true.
She must have got the brains or the looks or something.
I am going to be interested to see how Civil Union fires off the layoff. Should bringing a horse around slow. Of course, it's a 6-year-old horse. It probably should have been around by then. But I mean, the horse has got some talent. It could quite, might get a surprise there. This would be your quintessential Rosarioing if he beats both the Chads, a Todd, a Belmont. That would be the horse I think that every one of us would just be so mad at ourselves if we let ourselves get Rosarioed by Civil Union.
I mean, I know we don't. I've been told once or twice now in the past 20 minutes that we don't, race on paper. But isn't the 5 just not fast enough?
I think she's plenty fast enough, but I mean, she's a Grade 1 winner. Lost to the 1 by half a length.
I know you guys are all on the time form thing, but looking at Briz figures.
Did you see who she beat twice? My sister Nat. I think my sister Nat was the original fake Chad, if I do remember correctly. I may not remember correctly.
She may have been. She's one of them for sure.
She's clearly a fake Chad. So this horse beat some fake Chads.
I mean, if you want to knock who she beat, maybe. But if you think the 1's a player here, which I do, she only beat the 5 by a length, and the 5 probably had the worst trip that day in the Breeders' Cup. So I mean, I don't think you need to bet her, but I think that she very much is fast enough to win on her day. But if you want to single the 1, I wouldn't knock anyone for that either. I think she's the likeliest winner.
Ben Wilkie is saying Civil Union's been working very well, and Road Warrior saying that. He would never throw out the longer the 2 Chads. The larger the price difference, the better.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, he is not wrong. We've all been bit by that.
It's true. Very fair.
All right, let's move on to the vagrancy here. 6.5 furlongs, fillies and mares, 4-year-old and up. Who is? Let me scroll down. Is
this racing a Gale? Yeah.
Pacific Gale is the morning line favorite here at 5-2.
I love this race.
Yeah, this race is awesome. This race is just about a good betting race for for only a 7-horse field. This race, everybody you can make a case for.
I gotta say, congratulations to Naira, because for how short these fields are, all of these are pretty fucking good races. Even though you're getting 6 or 7 horses, you get a little bit more on the turf, but these dirt races. These are fucking competitive 6-horse fields.
Caleb, what did you think here?
So I love this race, and I think it's a great betting race. I think that I'm going to shit all over your pick, which is the 2 Sadie Lady.
Yeah, that's where he's
going. This horse has 2 huge figs last out, and the 6-1 line is a joke. The horse will be probably 3-1, 7-2. Horse, I mean, I played a lot of Aqueduct over the winter, and this horse is going to make the lead most likely. But this horse caught an insane rail bias in each of her last 2 starts. You throw those races out, and she's just not fast enough to win. So I'm going to be very against her. I mean, it's one thing to take a stance against a horse that's 6-1, but I think she takes money. I'm also kind of against the other short prices in On Her Way and Pacific Gale. Pacific Gale was a chronic bridesmaid up until recently, and all of a sudden remembered how to win. I guess that depends on your opinion of those races. Mine is that they weren't good, and they were a Gulfstream. Most of her notorious chandeliering kind of happened in New York. So I don't know, maybe she just kind of got the Florida fever or took some bath salts or something and learned how to win. But
it ate somebody's face.
Yeah, I'm not playing Pacific Gale. She could win. I'm not as against her as I am the 2, but I am very against her as the favorite. The 2 horses I like here that I think you get prices on better than Morning Line are the 3 Victim of Love and the 7 French Empire.
Interesting
How are
horse.
we on the same 2 horses? How?
That's insane because I thought for sure you'd be on one of the 2 I just shit on. But I love Victim of Love here. She's my top pick. She ran I always thought she was what I would typically call mid-Atlantic trash, which is these horses that only run well at Laurel and Pimlico and tracks like that. So she showed up to Belmont in the Vagrancy last year and ran a huge race. Now, to be fair, she was wide on a day when you wanted to be wide. The track was probably more muddy or sloppy than good. Come Dancing went to the rail because Castellano doesn't know how to ride or read a bias. And she probably tripped out a little bit, but she clearly proved that was no fluke when she came back to run 3rd against Serengeti Empress and Bellafina in the Grade 1 Ballerina. And then that last one, I'm beyond convinced that was a tune-up for a bigger race. She's a 5-year-old mare now. She's probably one that needs a start. So I think that was a perfect tune-up race for her, and I really like Victim of Love here. French Empire is the other one I do like. I hate the line, but I think you get much better than that 7-2. This is a horse that I bet against at Oaklawn a few times because there wasn't enough pace on paper for a horse like her to actually win. And she won anyway. I mean, she's been up against some adverse pace scenarios against some races where she looked overmatched, but she is just in such good form right now.
Got that T-Pain syndrome. All it does is win, 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 no matter what.
Right.
It throws toes in the air.
Doesn't even need the auto tune.
And they stay there.
And now
they stay there.
You get the magic Brad Cox, cocktail. Castellano is not a jock I love to see get up on a horse like this. He might be wait a little too long to move, but I do really like French Empire here, but I don't love 7-2. If I can get more like 5-1, which I think you do, that's a horse that interests me.
So I feel like I need to go right after Caleb because he knew where I was going to go, right? I see E8 and I see Kendrick Kermouche. There's going to be a bet, right? I actually think this horse is probably more like a B. Like, I'm going to see how the track is playing. The pace scenario tells me this horse is an A. The speed figures tell me this horse is a B or a C type. So I don't think this horse is going to be worse than a B for me. We'll see how the track's playing. I do the thing where I take like the average, the last 3 speed figures that aren't on the wrong surface, wrong condition, didn't have trouble. And if I do that, looking at it, it's like Pacific Gale's at a 97 with Briz figures, and Sadie Lady's like a 96, and those are the top 2. So I really don't buy that Sadie Lady isn't fast enough.
My issue with Sadie Lady is the fact that if this race was a half furlong shorter, I would like her a lot more. I think this is a little bit, about a half furlong further than she really wants to run.
I'm sorry, Josh. I interrupted. Please continue. I interrupted again when I apologized.
The 2 horses, though, the 2 horses that I'll probably keep most of my playthrough, though, Caleb talked about both of them. The 7 French Empire. I mean, all the reasons Caleb already brought up. I think this horse has just been consistently improving, and ran some really good races at Oak Lawn. It's coming in with some very, very good form. Is going to the Brad Cox barn, which I think might be more of a licensing thing than anything else, because I don't think Contreras is licensed in New York, but maybe it could be something else.
And 10 Strike. Brad Cox has most of the 10 Strike horses that are based in New York too.
Yeah, so I think this horse is coming is peaking at the right time. This is probably your most likely winner, I think. So I'm pretty much in agreement with Caleb. I'm not going to let Pacific Gale beat me. So this horse will be an A or B for me. It's kind of just a form thing. The horse has won two graded stakes in a row. Is going to be coming in. I think this horse is a little bit more versatile. Isn't going to be off the pace necessarily like French Empire. I think Pacific Gale probably sits like second in this race. So I think Pacific Gale is going to get a nice trip in this race. So I'll be using Pacific Gale here. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to get the 16-1 I had when you guys laughed at me when I picked her for the inside information. And yes, I am going to redboard that again. I'll have Pacific Gale on my tickets. But those are the only 3 horses I think I need here.
So I think we're all forgetting that we're playing Naira again, and this is the land of the passive jock colony, where when a horse is supposed to be lone speed, it usually ends up lone speed. So I think it's going to be Sadie. I think it's going to be Sadie Lady that's going to be up on the front, unless it ends up running into a bias, which I doubt is going to happen. I think that Sadie Lady should be able to get away. I'm very intrigued by French Empire. It's really hard to overlook a horse that's won with that sort of regularity, and then also the fact that the horse really just hit its peak with Sippy Contreras. Makes you wonder, if the horse takes another step forward with Brad Cox, then that horse is probably your winner. From a pace standpoint, though, I think it's Sadie Lady, and I think that the pace is a little bit more boring, and we don't have as much of a contest, as much of a was it ding dong slapping contest? No, a ding dong battle. Don't think there'll be a ding dong battle on the front end.
Yeah. Those are two very different things.
The other one's called Rochambeau.
Depends on how you do it. I think Sadie Lady probably wires this. If I'm going to go elsewhere, I probably don't single Sadie Lady. I probably play Sadie Lady in French Empire.
I got nothing creative here, so I 100% agree with Caleb, which you know what that means. Toss the 2 horses we like and pick somebody else.
Congratulations to Sadie Lady for the grade 3 vagrancy. No, so where do I know PD Bianchi from? Why is that
PD Bianchi has blown some shit up before?
Yeah, PD Bianchi has blown some shit up before, but PD Bianchi is also that horse that you just can never trust. Ever.
I'm trying to remember what race this horse won.
PD Bianchi's been around forever. What race?
I don't remember. You know what? I might be thinking of that Ruffian Stakes where she sucked up for 3rd.
Oh man. March 14th, 2020. Here's the most 2020 race result ever. PD Bianchi edged out Slimy in a 100K listed stakes race. My God.
I wonder who chased
We knew the fucking world was ending at that point, didn't we?
Oh, man.
Do you remember when everything shut down? No, but I remember that time that there was a PD Bianchi Slimy Exacta, and that shit was terrifying.
Oh, man. John Massey saying it's not 2015 with JJ. He wishes Arietta was riding.
God, he is talented.
He was so good at Oaklawn.
Good. He's going to be good.
He used to ride up at Canterbury, right?
Yeah. I think he was kind of like a West Coast, like far Midwest, or not West Coast, but like mountain.
Wasn't it the Pacific Midwest? Wasn't he at like the one that's in Portland?
I thought he was in like I can't think of the name of any of the tracks right now. Oh, fuck. I want to say like Arapahoe, but it's not Arapahoe. But it's like that area.
The what do you call it? Emerald Downs?
No, I'm thinking like Arizona, New Mexico.
Paradise?
Not Turf.
Zia or some shit.
Yes.
Hmm.
Might have to Google. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure John Massey or Road Warrior, one of them will chime in. All right, let's take a look here at the Grade 3 Peter Pan. I was actually kind of surprised with how many horses we kind of had skip the Derby, that we didn't have a bigger field for this. We're going to be going a mile and an eighth here for 3-year-olds. Your morning line favorite is going to be, I believe it's Chad Brown's horse, right? Risk Taking? Is that Chad Brown?
Yeah.
Yep. It's a Chad Brown horse.
Chase was right. Sunland and Zia predominantly.
Sunland. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, a lot of Sunland, a lot of Zia Park.
Did Sunland get renamed? Is it now just like Sun Park, or is that
no? It's Sunland.
It's still Sunland, but they lost the Derby prep that's no longer graded, and they've had all sorts of issues kind of keeping it open. It's been very touch and go lately.
I think they do better with quarter horses.
With quarters, they've always done better with quarters. Yeah, they've always had a hard time getting a solid thoroughbred meet going.
So where the hell is Sunray Park?
Sunray?
Yeah.
It's it goes around the stadium, the baseball stadium in Tampa, I think.
Oh, it's New Mexico. Dude, I remember I was just like chilling and I was just like scrolling through like TVG and it had Sunray Park and I was like, where the hell is Sunray Park? I've literally never heard of it. Anyways,
in Phoenix, apparently.
So it's in that big of a metropolitan area, and we're like, where the fuck is Sunray? Wow.
No, it's in New Mexico.
It's in Phoenix, but Sunland's in New Mexico, so they're not the same place.
I thought Sunland was in Arizona. I don't know. It's all the
it's
same.
All the same.
It's all the same.
It's not in California. It's just, it's all the same.
Anyways,
Mountain time zone. They don't even mention you in the TV programming guides. They skip straight from Central to Pacific. You don't fucking matter.
So we have a short field of 6 here, with your 6 risk taking being the 7-5 morning line favorite. I already know that this is Road Warriors pick. I have to assume that this is Road Warriors pick here. But yeah, what did you think here, Chase?
Risk taking is 100% your logical winner. I feel like risk taking, it can handle the distance. You have to think that Malathot winning, coming out of Winter Duct and just like smashing, well, not necessarily smashing, but running up to its odds, kind of maybe takes some of the wariness away from Winter Duct horses. But I mean, they're all coming out of it. So part of me wants to say Wolfie's Dynaghost beat Weyburn last out. By the way, the Wolfie's Dynaghost at $33.75 to the dollar with Weyburn Exacta had to be a fucking life-changing score for somebody. I thought this was probably I thought this was probably the most difficult race on the card. I kind of like Novarags a little bit. The distance concerns me, however. Really not a whole lot of luck stretching out, and then plus coming out of like the Tampa route. I'm going to say it's going to be risk taking. If I'm going to go elsewhere, I'm going to say it's going to be Wolfie's Dynaghost. What's the price on Wolfie's Dynaghost?
9-2.
I don't think you're going to. I think you'll get better odds than that. But I would even have a hard time betting that horse at 9-2 or even 5-1, 6-1. Like I probably want like 8-1, 9-1 on Wolfie's Dynaghost.
Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to play against risk taking in this race. I understand the bobbled star and everything else, but he was just crazy flat in the lane. Seems like, and I've seen this story before with some of these Chads who kind of improve every start, and they have a big regression. They don't tend to bounce right back. It tends to take them a few races. maybe there's a logical excuse. I haven't heard if something happened or, caught a quarter or something stupid like that where you go, oh, okay, there's a logical excuse. But I sort of want one of the newer, fresher faces, and I sort of end up on the 3 inside horses, the 1, the 2, and the 3. I think between Overtook, Nova Rags, and Promise Keeper, you win this race a lot more than taking somebody like Risk Taking.
Hold on, run that back real quick. The 3 inside horses were the 1, the 2, and the 3.
Yes, it's even on paper. If I was to write them down, that would be the 3 of them.
Let me write that.
So I think I didn't really want to. I honestly think they all look about the same on paper. You got the Pletcher, the other Pletcher, and then you have Junior with Choice, and he stays on Nova Rags. I think those are the 3. They're all improving types. They all seem to be getting rounding into form. And I think obviously Peter Pan is the big prep for the Belmont, the big Naira prep for the Belmont. I think all these they're really interesting options. And I think the Chad on the outside, Risk Taking takes a ton of money, and I think those 3 versus Risk Taking, I like one of those 3, and I don't really want to try to pick one out. I just I would use them all about equally.
Yeah, I'm not using Risk Taking. I'm not using anybody out of the wood, probably for the rest of my life. That race was awful, and every horse out of it is awful. Yeah, I kind of agree with Chase as far as that Wolfie's Dynaghost horse goes. And anyone who knows me knows that I hate horses that broke their maiden last out and is now facing winners. But this just screams of a horse that's very deliberately brought along. Chase already mentioned the horse beat Weyburn, which is a pretty big accomplishment given what he went on to do. My main reason for liking Wolfie's Dynaghost is that he's a half sibling to Sadler's Joy, my favorite horse in racing.
You're pulling that out as an upside. There's really.
To be honest, I'm just fucking around. I do like the horse a little bit, but my top pick is actually the 3 Promise Keeper. I don't know what happened in the Tampa Bay Derby. It wasn't good, but I don't know. I mean, Tampa's a funny track. It's got a unique composition to it, and some horses like it and some don't. This horse at least came out of that race and showed that he had some talent and crushed a field at Keeneland. He also should be pretty forwardly placed in a race that doesn't seem loaded with speed by any stretch. And you get Luis Saez, who I trust to work out an aggressive front-running trip more than pretty much any jockey in the country. So I'm going to use a little bit of Promise Keeper as well. Nova Rags, I feel like I know who that horse is. I'm not too interested there. Same thing with Risk Taking. I just think he was a little exposed in the wood, and no one else in this race does a whole lot for me. So I'm going to use Promise Keeper and Wolfie's Dynaghost.
I'm pretty much the same as Caleb. I think the 3 Promise Keeper is probably the horse with the most upside here. If you toss out that Tampa Bay Derby, like that progression is just great. Breaks his maiden second time out, comes back in an optional claimer and wins very convincingly. I mean, I don't know if he really beat anybody in that race, but the Fig stands up really nice. The Fig looks, I think, might be I guess Risk Taking's Winter Duck Fig is probably a little bit better, but I think the three sits here with probably the most proven form. The 4 is interesting based off of, breaking his maiden last time out. Now, Tom Albatrani is not exactly great coming off a long layoff. You do get Jose Ortiz aboard, though. So, he seemed to have turned it around, I think, at near the end of the Aqueduct meet. So I think you can kind of trust him a little bit when you couldn't use him at all, almost at Gulfstream. So I'm interested in this 4 as well. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what fucking happens, but I might even take a flyer on this 5, just based off the fact that this horse looks like since his last race. I mean, he's still a maiden, but the horse has been working out like a freaking monster. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what maybe we get happen on this 5. Probably key the 5 underneath a little bit. probably be a little bit more interested in the 5 underneath if we get some moisture in there. But the only horses I think I can win, I think 3 or the 4 are going to be where most of my play go through. That was easy. Nobody really seemed to get any crazy. I don't know. Like I guess I was really surprised because I assumed that race was going to get a couple other horses that maybe just like scratched out of the Derby and just like wanted to maybe take another prep race before the Belmont or something like that. But
I'm going to be candid here for a moment. I'm mainly using Wolfie's Dynaghost because if I don't use a horse with Wolf in the name and it wins, I'll never hear the fucking end of it.
Dude,
Wait, so what happened with that horse we were playing one night on stream, and we're like, "Hey, the horse says we got Wolf in its name," and and then it won
like,
it. Like,
And it won it like 20-1. Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
a white wolf or gray wolf or some shit like that.
yeah. And I am a white wolf. I'm the whitest lupine.
well, I'm gonna take a.
I will say that I'm playing a pick 4 at Lone Star.
You're playing a pick 4 at Lone Star.
Damn right.
Whoa.
I am.
I do see that Lone Star is 1 minute to post here. Race 5.
So I am playing in this next race. I need the 5 the most. I did spread a little bit more I played 2 pick 4s, but in my bigger ticket, I singled the 5 in this race. I think he's got good speed and fits on figs, and I think he gets the lead here. You got Lane.
Did you use the 8 too?
I did not use the 8.
I'll use the 8 too.
I
It's
looked
okay.
at
Do
it.
what's in your heart.
I went 5, and then I have 2, 5, 6, 7 was my my spreadier ticket, but I got the most come through the 5. My main play here is I'm against the 3, who if he runs back to his old turf figs, he probably wins. But that was a year ago. That was in Jorge Navarro's barn, and at 5-2, I'm not willing to find out if he's the same horse.
I'm going to put – all right. I'm speeding through and putting together a pick 4, and it's going to blow your mind. I hope you have a fresh change of pants because this is going to blow your mind out of your ass.
Well, they're on the turf course now, so you better hurry.
It's going to be
is the light flashing?
5-8 with 3-6 with 1-2-3 with 1-4-6.
Well, we got a couple of the same horses, Chase.
Yeah, I literally just looked at the pace projections. Was like, yeah, this makes sense.
These are the horses in the front.
Yeah, I have no idea. No idea. Whoa. Look at the 1-4-6 in the final leg. Those are on the front horses. But you were right for 75% of my ticket.
I will say the 7, he's the favorite right now, which blows my mind. I don't see how, but I liked him a little bit, but not at 2-1. I'm not going to cancel the ticket, though.
Did they scratch somebody?
Not late, no.
Or they just have the numbers wrong? Oh, okay, they just have the numbers wrong.
Yeah, both couple.
They're moving numbers around. That's why I was asking. Yeah, 3, 4, 5.
I'm telling you, we could make millions if we just made an LED light system. So that
how is that not a thing? That's actually like a genius idea.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Who wants in? I'm taking investors. We'll Shark Tank it. Josh, for 5% of my company, which has a $3 billion valuation, just so I don't have to watch fucking Ray Bob climb up there and gate monkey around and switch the placards.
I actually really like the 2 here.
Chase, I'll give you the money, but I want a 10K royalty per every installation of signs.
You have to say the Mr. Wonderful thing and say in perpetuity. In perpetuity.
They're off.
You're off. And it looks
Your
like my
5 got to the lead. There you go.
Are we sharing? We're not sharing video, are we?
No.
No.
This 8. He must be a Night Ranger fan because this fucker is motoring.
Dude, like they really need to get a new 2 saddle towel because that's looking awfully yellow.
Wow, it really is. Yeah.
Yeah. That is, I don't know how many jockeys' ball sweat it took to dye that thing that dingy yellow, but it happened. Go 8. Go get him 8. Go get him 8. Go get him 8.
Yeah, didn't Caleb need the 5?
I do need the 5, but 9 to 5.
Go get him 8.
Jinky price, but
This 5's going to hold on. Or the 8. Get up. No, that's 5's going to hold on.
looks like a 5 or the 3 or 7. It looks like.
Ooh,
Oh,
it's
here
a
comes the
little closer to
3.
that
Well,
Wait.
that's the horse I was against, and he gets. Wait, yeah, that's the horse I was against.
That's why God made pick 3s.
I
So
know.
we're going to run it back.
Life goes on.
So we're going to run it back with 3-6 with 1-2-3 with 1-4-6. And if that doesn't work,
Oh,
that's why
no.
God made daily doubles.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't
And-
work,
The pick one.
The old pick 1.
Pick 1.
That's so funny. All right, let's take a look at this last race here. Oh no, looks like where I lost this here. All right, let's get the lone star out of the screen. All right, Man of War, 1 3/8 mile. Now, Caleb, I feel like we got to tell the story about Channel Maker in this race. How long were you chasing that fig?
About 2 years. A long, long time ago in a land far, far away. There was a horse named Channel Maker who ran in this race, and he posted a negative thoroughgraph figure on turf, which is like the rarest thing you will ever see is a negative thoroughgraph figure on the turf. And I was like, oh my God, this is like the next fucking Frankel. I mean, this horse is the goods. And I bet him for like a year or 2 years, probably chasing this fig. And he lost every single race after leading up until the point where I finally started hating the older male turf division, marathon turf division. So this was the race that actually, I think, gave birth. Sadler's Joy might be or not Sadler's Joy. Zulu Alpha might be the president, but Channel Maker might be the founder.
Listen, so I didn't know that story. So like I literally thought that like you had maybe done a couple of years in prison and like that this horse had possibly framed you and put you in there. Like, because I can just imagine you just fucking doing sit-ups and like looking at a picture of him and just like getting angry until the day that you get released.
And little did you know, him being angry and doing sit-ups was not in jail, but was in fact in Siberia because he was mad that the horse killed his friend in an exhibition match.
What the fuck are you talking about, Josh? Jesus
I was going Rocky
Christ.
4. I was going Rocky
it's Rocky.
4.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man! But on the plus side, Channel Cat's in here, and I know Caleb hates Channel Cat, so
I really do hate Channel Cat.
yeah,
That
Channel
was the
Cat's
first
like
horse I
number
put
10
out.
though. He's like number 10 on like your top 10 list of horses you hate. So
we're gonna have to split this list into like Phillies division and like a males division, and we're gonna have to subjugate it out.
I made a list one time of all the horses I hate, and like, well, A, it took me a while, and B, I think probably 8 of the top 10 were all turf marathoners. So that was interesting. I guess probably not surprised to anybody, but
Oh yeah, bro, we know, dude.
You hate an entire division of horses.
We know.
yeah. So Channel Cat, he was on the list, but he was like 8 or 9 or 10. He's not that high on the list because I've only been betting him for like, I don't know, a year and a half. Ever since he wired that race at Saratoga like a year and a half ago, I kind of chased him for like a year, and then I decided after he left Fletcher's Barn, I was done. But he's got a reason to be there. He knows what he did. He knows.
So, unlike the other Chad that's shipping in, Mark, is this one fast enough?
Yes. Even
This one looks like
even without the time form conversion or getting faster coming to the States, Sovereign is a monster.
this horse is a monster. Like
I don't see any way any other horse not named Sovereign wins this race. And I mean, something crazy has to happen. I think Sovereign just absolutely towers over this field. This is the distance he wants to go. Obviously he's not the winningest type, but this field is way, way, way softer than races with some horse named Enable in them. He just should, he should win this, and you're going to get probably 3 to 5, not 8 to 5.
Caleb.
Yeah, I'm not against Sovereign by any means. I'm going to use the horse heavily, but I'm not keying anything around this horse. This horse just doesn't like to win. And yeah, I mean, it's in the Chad Brown's barn, but once again, it's no Lasix and it's out of Aiden O'Brien's barn. So it isn't like he's coming out of Jur Lions like the other Chad Brown horse or some small time barn. Yeah, there's no enables in here, but that was a 3-horse race and he got second by 6 lengths. So, I mean, I guess that's fine. But I'm going to use the horse, but I thought this race was pretty wide open. I liked a lot of horses here. I'm actually have, 5 horses I wrote down. It's just the older turf marathoners I can never seem to get on the right side of. But as much as I do like Sovereign, I'm going to talk about a horse that I guess Mark hates, which is the 8 Guffo. Guffo?
Fuck him.
Yeah,
I say Guffo.
Guffo? All right, Guffo it is.
It could be Guffo, though.
Yeah.
Alternate between the two, just freely.
I'll switch it back and forth just so he's almost 50% offended. I like Guffo here. I've always thought this was kind of the better of the Christophe Clement duo between him and Decorated Invader. The horse has done absolutely nothing wrong. Proven to be raced just fine off of Lasix a couple times. Has a grade 1 win to his name. I mean, the big question here is that on paper, he's not really fast enough. But I feel like we've already talked about what horses do on paper. It's a little bit different than what they do on grass or on dirt. And, we
and
just
also,
saw,
this is where I figured out that the 1, 2, and 3 were actually the inside horses, like Mark said. He's just spitting fucking gold tonight.
He is. We just saw last week when I was adamantly against a horse named Decorated Spending or Domestic Spending, whatever the fuck his name was. And he heated with the horse that is probably the best male turf horse or best turf horse, router in America right now, Colonel Liam. And he heated with him. And that horse was too slow to win on paper. Guffo has lost by a neck in his last start and a head in his 3 starts ago to Domestic Spending, and that horse has stamped himself as a very legit contender in turf marathon division or turf route division anyway.
That
I
photo
think you
was
can
suspect.
probably expect similar improvement here. The horse isn't fast enough to win based on his 3-year-old form, but he's shown every indication that he probably will move forward as a 4-year-old now. And at 2-1, is that the right price to take on a horse to move forward? I don't know.
You're going to get such a better price than
I
2
think
to
Mark
1,
is right, and that the 1 gets absolutely bet off the board, and
I agree.
everybody else becomes a really good price. And I think Guffo, I'm switching up the name since I said Guffo the first time. I think he's a horse that makes sense here. He does need a bit of a pace, but he has a wicked turn of foot, and I think that he could very likely be a player here with any improvement into his 4-year-old season. I mean, plus you get probably the best turf connections, second best, arguably best turf connections in New York.
Yeah, I don't care how you pronounce his name. The horse just plain isn't fast enough. And if you're really reaching back to the December of 2019 form to get the one time he ran off Lasix when he broke his maiden, over a year and a half ago, sure, you do you, but he's just not fast enough, period.
Yeah, he's not based on what he's shown, but as we know, I mean, horses can improve.
So you have a horse in the 1 who is fast enough, and there's other horses in this race who are fast enough. You're going to take a short price on a horse that is not fast enough.
That horse has been running in Ireland. It has been running where there's. I don't know what time form looks like on
Paper?
UK. European shippers, but I don't have anything that shows me that Sovereign is by far faster. I mean, as far as I know, they don't believe in fractional times in fucking Europe. So I don't know where you're getting or that the horse is definitely fast enough. And actually, I'm going to use a third pronunciation to drive home my point about why Caleb is right. I'm going to say, I'm just to cover all bases, Guffo. has something that your fucking figure, your time form figures or whatever doesn't factor into, and that is how not fast, how quick Guffo is. This horse, Guffois, how fucking quick Guffois is. This horse has elite turn of foot. He can go from nothing to top speed in about 5 strides, and it just takes them to shake him up at the right time. Those times that he's finished second by head, third by neck, they just didn't shake him up quite quick enough. Like this, to me, this is the horse that is going to take the mantle and redeem fucking Caleb's faith in the marathon turf older horse division. And his name was Guffois. I'm out. I'm mic drop. I'm done. I'm done with this stream because I just fucking wrecked this shit.
My more technical rebuttal
I'm
would
just
be
sticking around.
Sovereign is flattered by the weights that he carries. If you turn off the weight component in time form, he's not that fast. Now,
there's just Hollywood muscles.
I mean, he's dropping between 15 and 20 pounds, which is huge. I will, concede. But I don't really like the way time form handles weight conversions for speed figures, and I think it's really flattering a horse like Sovereign, and it's pretty apparent. Because if you take off the weights, he's not nearly that fast.
Also, he's not getting the Lasix that you love, Mark. Like you literally just knocked another Chad Brown horse. I feel like we're going all in on Mark. We just fucking
but
today.
The other Chad Brown horse wasn't fast enough.
The other Chad Brown wasn't fast enough. This Chad
and
Brown
wasn't getting Lasix. This horse is fast enough without the Lasix. So,
Kayla, what do we say to these fucking clowns?
I mean, he can win. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not against him, but I'm definitely not against.
We're against him. We talked about this ahead of time. We're against.
You're right. Fuck him. Gufo wins by a pole.
Guffois.
Matching Guffois tattoos.
I know Josh hasn't talked yet, and I don't want to cut off Josh. Josh, go first. Who are you on here?
I mean, I honestly, I kind of agree with Mark. I don't know how the one loses. That horse, yeah, that's like a legit horse. Period.
Probably the next bricks and mortar. Is that what
that's getting shipped in here?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this fucking Chad's world, man. We're just living in it.
Yeah, I would say the 2 horses we didn't mention that I do find kind of interesting are both the 2 and the 3, Moon Over Miami and Zad. Both of those are horses that you're going to get a bit of a price on here. They have to set the right trip. They probably need a little bit of a setup, but both of them have figures in here that fit very favorably with the field. And if the Chad Brown, if the 1 is 3 to 5, like I think very well could be the case, and people, bet Guffois or however now we're pronouncing it these days, I think you could get a pretty, I could see the 2 and the 3 drifting a little and both being sort of very interesting other players in this race.
I like the 2 and the 3, and I don't have much else to add other than they're like probably B/C's to me. But I do want to ask, like, as the clearly time form disciple of the group, Mark, why don't you like Field Pass off that last effort?
I think this is probably a little bit further than Field Pass wants to go. That was sort of my take. I think Field Pass is more a mile and a 16th type, and I think that he stretched out to this sort of distance before, but never done very well going this far. I do like him a touch. I have him as a C. I wouldn't toss him off tickets, but I think this is, again, a little further than he probably wants to go. Where somebody like the 2 or the 3, you're going to get a little bit better price on and are proven at the distance.
Yeah, Zayat has a ton of distance on that bottom line. And plus, if you put the letters like IRE or GB in parentheses behind a sire or broodmare sire's name,
turf sire, they're just better. Yeah.
Listen, I'm just going to assume that you're good at turf and can run for days. Kind of like how I just assumed that Fergal Lynch was Irish and could ride on turf. It's just the names. It just makes sense. This is what they do.
I mean, he can, and he is Irish, and I think he also got like what he got banned for betting on horses or something, right?
He got banned for being amazing.
I will say this is a little bit sharp for this is a little bit probably longer than most Rocket Gibraltars want to go. but that not too bad.
Like I do have one horse I want to use as a B, and it might be the 5 Channel Cat.
Who?
Oh
I
God.
think it might be the 5 Channel Cat. Dude, I haven't looked at time
Hold
for him
on,
yet.
I got to get more bourbon.
I haven't looked at time for him yet, but I'll tell you, man, on Briz, Channel Cat looks pretty good.
Channel
Did you
Cat,
notice the last time Channel Cat won a race?
The bowling, was it the Bowling Green?
Who'd he beat?
Ya Primo and Arklow.
Yeah.
Dude, you remember the heyday of Ya Primo? Ya Primo was like was going to be Chad's next big horse, wasn't he? Primo's a Chad horse, wasn't he?
Was ever going to be Chad's next?
Oh yeah, he
horse.
was.
I mean, it's sort of the bricks and mortar days, and I think bricks and mortar was very much the Chad horse.
But Ya Primo, dude, is going to be it.
I don't think Ya Primo was always a fake Chad / C level Chad, and John Massey is very right. G1 winner Arklow.
Yeah, so Channel Cat beat a G1 winner.
I brought out the worst bottle of bourbon that I own to go with the worst pick I've heard on the stream.
Is that contradiction?
It is contradiction.
It's not Smoke Wagon?
No, I'm actually sending it to Josh, but this is actually worse. Granted, it's also like $30, but
holy hell! So Rosario through this very young Belmont meet on the PPs that I have 43%.
Yeah.
And he won at least once today.
I think Irad, Rosario, and Jose are like a combined 80% or something just silly.
Just yeah. Rosario is actually going to lose a little bit of that. He's probably only going to be 38 or something percent because he did have I don't think he had a win on the day, did he?
What a fucking slouch!
He wired a surfer out on the 3-horse.
Dude, the sick thing is he's 43%, and you want to know he's that high is because he just realized that you're supposed to have your feet in those little things at the start of the race. He's been riding this entire time with his feet out of the stirrups, and finally, after that picture came out, they're like, "Hey, you're supposed to have those in."
That's what's been going wrong at my gynecologist appointments all this time.
Oh, sweet.
Oh man. Yeah, that's that. We got through all those races pretty quick.
2 words: gaffois.
I mean, Goofgo's fine. I think he's fine. I honestly I thought that one is just like, I don't know, that might be Chad's next horse if it's not that Argentinian horse that he's already got.
So what's the structure? I mean, if you guys think this horse is like the fucking bee's knees in 3 to 5, I'm sure he's lone A and probably no B's, right?
No, he's a single A for me, and I'll have B's behind him.
You don't see.
I think he's
You're
very
not so
good.
confident that you go A's and then C's.
Caleb, my thing is comparing him to Goffois.
It's Guffo to you.
Towers over. He towers over that horse. There are other horses in the race that I do like, though.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to fade, Goffois, 2 to 1, you do you.
You can say it's okay.
There's no monsters in this race. I mean, Sovereign might be. I'll put it that way, and Goffois might be, but nobody else, I think, has much grade 1 upside in their future.
With the age, like I think you're gonna see Goffois around for a while, and I mean, just when you watch this race, probably watch him not do it this time, but when you watch this race, really watch like when this horse is asked, and then just see how long it takes for him to hit top speed, because it's remarkable how quick this horse is. I just checked, and Belmont's birthday is July 29th, so we're safe on Moon over Miami. We do not have to use him in our horizontals. Might want to use him in verticals, but you do not need to use him in horizontals.
What are you guys playing this weekend? Chase, you're Belmont?
Belmont. I'm so glad to be done with Oaklawn and playing back to playing Naira tracks. Like I'm really pumped for the Belmont through Saratoga through Fall Belmont stretch. Like it's like this is when I get dialed in. I love this track. I know these so I'm going to be very much invested in this Belmont card.
Caleb.
I will be Belmont as well. Unlike Chase, though, I'm actually super disappointed that Oaklawn's ending. I was having a real nice meet, but Belmont's kind of the logical place for me to go right now. I don't like Churchill, and California is more of a spot play track for me at this point. So
You playing a tournament?
Probably. I jumped in a pretty nice one today and had a good start and kind of flattened out late. But I think I'll probably jump in a tournament for the Saturday, most likely.
Yeah,
I
the
do
$300 one back.
I'd like to get into the Spawn Surf come August. So I'm trying to decide if I want to tackle that, via cash tournaments and buy-in or feeders. And then also BCBC is definitely a long-term goal as well. So I'll be I haven't done much tournament play lately, so I'll probably try to get into that a little bit more now that we're getting out of CDI tracks. Like I was focusing on Oaklawn, so no tournaments. But with that being done, I'll get back into tournaments, probably look at some BCBC and Spawn Surf, and then cash play Belmont.
Mark?
Probably a little bit of Belmont, a little bit of Santa Anita. Might take a look at a tournament or two. I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to be playing, but probably predominantly Belmont. And I know Chase and I both do. Have good Belmont meets. We tend to do very well there. So we tend to land on the same type of quirky, weird horses that do well there. So.
Chat. What is Chat playing? Chat's been kind of quiet today. I think everyone's just kind of over horse racing after this weekend.
Yeah, every day after.
Well, guys, I don't know if I have to tell you guys what I'm playing.
Arlington Park.
But let me tell you, dude, Arlington Saturday card, they drew average of 10 horses per race. So
can we start?
We just bet the Broberg and.
Can we start? No, Broberg doesn't run in Illinois.
No, he was running at Hawthorne, but not. I don't know if he's running. I don't think he's got any horses.
What's the guy that wins at Arlington at
That's Ravelli.
Larry Ravelli, yeah.
But his jock's out west now. His jock took his tack to Santa Anita.
His new jock is Jareth Loveberry.
Lover boy, screw that. So we need to start a GoFundMe for Josh.
A GoFundMe?
Hey, what?
A Goofo on me?
Goofwand me?
I was trying to raise funds so that you could actually be part of the ownership group of the new Arlington Park, and then you did that, and now I regret even bringing it up. I'm telling you, man, you could get in on the ground floor, buy a piece of Arlington Park. Can you imagine next summer the Jakarta Stakes? 6 furlongs on the turf.
Dude, I'm trying to think like what horse. I mean, first of all, if I was to name a stakes race for any horse, I think at this point it might have to be Funny Duck. You're just like so disappointed with that answer.
I like that answer. I was sad though because I thought of how many suicides that it might actually cause.
Oh, John Massey with the Pizza Man.
Pizza Man.
Dude, I wasn't even watching horse racing when that happened, but John Dooley's call, every time I watch that, dude, just like sends chills.
I remember right when I started playing, there was some ADW that offered like money back on the Pizza Man. Like if the Pizza Man finished second or third in its next race, you got your money back.
He ended up, I think he ran the BC Turf that year. Ran like 4th or 5th or something like that.
Oh, 0 minutes at Lone Star. I got to get this Saver pick 3 in here.
Oh, I got 6. Don't worry.
3-6 with 1-2-3 with 1-4-6.
I actually like John Massey's answer there. John Dooley, the next NYRA announcer. I love John Dooley. I think he's a great announcer.
Where's he now?
He's the Arlington announcer, and then he does fairgrounds in the winter.
It's not bad. Fairgrounds isn't bad.
Let's take a look here. I get Lone Star Park here. We got race 6.
I'm not creative, and I keyed the 6 here and pick 3.
Today I cracked myself up imagining Larry Colmus reading Leonardo DiCaprio's dialogue from What's Eating Gilbert Grape in his like velvety smooth voice. It was so funny. I might have been under several influences.
Can I ask a question, Mark? You might know the answer to this, but why do people not like Larry Colmus?
Comus, he's just boring. I mean, he's oatmeal, right? Like he's just very kind of a bland, blah announcer. I don't think his calls blow anybody away.
All he does is tell you exactly what's happening. Like just
yeah,
fucking guy.
I think his Triple Crown calls are very good. I think he does a very good job with Triple Crown Breeders' Cup type races. But if you go to Saratoga and listen to him, he's just boring, and there's no flair. There's no, and I also think he replaced Durkin, right? Like you're replacing a legend.
That's hard to replace
that as well, and I mean, it's freaking Durkin. So
you have just witnessed a felony. Yeah, that's my favorite Durkin call. The thing, all right, I figured out what it takes to be a good Triple Crown announcer. It's like you just have to speak fast, accurately say what's happening, and then yell the name of the horse that won. That's it. Done. Solved.
I do.
Bonus points if your voice cracks.
I do really like Travis Stone. I think Travis Stone's really good.
Who's the guy? I want to say he was at Turfway that does where every time the gate opens and he goes, and there they go.
Oh, what? Jimmy McNerney?
Does McNerney do that? But it makes me want to kill myself. The Scooby Doo.
That's
and
like
there
Kurt
they
Finger
go.
Lakes, and I cannot stand that guy.
Oh, that guy's horrible.
There they go.
I was just bitching to my dad about that yesterday because he was watching the races while I was working, and I'm like, "Oh my god, put that on mute." I'd rather listen to Vic Stauffer breathe into the microphone.
Dude, the thought of your dad just firing away at Finger Lakes while you're just like working, I don't know. That just brings a smile to my face.
That is pretty awesome.
It's been a fun week.
Whew.
So like the Asanova guy, or the Asanova Downs guy, needs an upgrade. He's actually pretty damn good. Can't remember his name.
What's the guy currently at Turfway? Other than his name being Chris Griffin, is pretty good, I think.
Chris Griffin is not at Turfway. He's at Houston, and now he's replacing the guy at Parks.
Is he? I just saw that Parks is doing a 50-cent jackpot bet now. Pick 5 with a 15% takeout.
Parks is?
Parks.
A jackpot wager?
A 50-cent jackpot, pick 5, 15% takeout, which for Parks,
but it's jackpot.
That's got to be like, yeah.
It depends on how much carry. If it's more than like 10% carries, it's not worth.
Yeah, because if it's a 15% carry, it's 30% effective.
Real quick, let me get this out here real quick. I actually kind of like this 3 at Lone Star, so I actually got this 3 keyed with the 6.
Me too.
I'm on the
6
and I picked 3, and then I played a 6-4 straight exacta.
I'm gonna go win place 3, and then a 6-3 exacta box.
I used the 6 and the 3 here, so we'll see what happens.
I used both. I was 3-6 with 1-2-3 with 1-4-6.
John Massey on the 4. He also likes Keith Jones and Tony Callow.
That 3 did not break.
Yeah, Massey's right.
I thought 4 would get the lead and 6 would just run him down, but if the 4 doesn't get an easy lead, I'm not sure he can hold second, which is what I need him to do.
They're smoking for Lone Star. The jewel of Grand Prairie, Texas.
Man, they got some really
turd of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro.
They have some really player-friendly contests, like tournaments and stuff out there, like the Lone Star Betting Challenge and stuff. Like it's like the Hawthorne ones Josh goes to, except with cowboy hats.
I have a friend who he had to work in the DFW area at the courthouse in Fort Worth, and so he had to be there over the weekend. And he was like, "Well, fuck it, I'm going to play in one of the Lone Star live tournaments that they have." And he said it was pretty impressive. I guess you got to go all out when you can't have ADW.
When the 4 goes left-handed, and he at least holds on for a second. All right, that works.
6-4. There you go.
$10 exacta. Come to pop.
Yeah, that's how you kick off a pick 3 with a fucking 1-5. If you went too deep.
Hey, our boy Aaron 007 here is also single to 6 in the pick 5.
Let's go, Aaron.
I mean, if
Aaron,
that exacta probable, I mean that paid 10-1 for that exacta with a 2-5 on top, and the horse that looked like he would make the lead. That's good value. I'll take that. Pick up $100.
There you go. Paid for your pick six earlier today.
Paid for my half of it anyway. We had a thrill, man. That would have been nice being alive going into that.
Man, they did it right going back to the one. Well, going
Yes,
back to
they
the
did.
one, going to the $1 as opposed to
Well, they got
20 cents.
yeah. Yep.
Because previously it was 2, but yeah, like they did it. They did it right. That thing has been paying.
Are we gonna?
I think it's only
do we
paid less
wanna-
than 5 figures once.
Yeah, look what it paid today. It was great. I mean, it paid about $50,000, just under $50,000, for a sequence that I don't want to say was easy, but I don't think it was impossible. It was a very approachable sequence.
If you put like 300 to maybe
Yeah, $300 you
$400
could've
in the
gotten there.
sequence, you hit
Yep.
it pretty easily, I think.
Yep. Agreed.
Do we want to have the conversation about minimums?
What do you want to talk about?
Like, isn't it like if you look at the bets that have the increased minimums, and I'm just talking like pick threes at Belmont, which are $1 minimum. You look at the golden hour pick 4, which is $1 minimum. You look at the golden hour double, which is a $5 minimum.
$5. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I know people are very like, oh, it knocks out the small player, but I'm like, honestly, do you think $1 try or a $2 exacta is gonna really like knock out that many small players? Like, it's gonna make you be more judicious, because like, how easy is it to do a try where you do like second choice over like first and third choice overall, right? You play it for like $8 or $10 for 50 cents or whatever, and you get like a 30 to 1 in third that you kind of liked, and you're like, oh great, like I got this 30 to 1 in third and it pays nothing. However, if you're playing it for $1 and you actually have to make the decision to use that 30 to 1 in third, like I feel like people sometimes think of it wrong, with minimums, and it being like player unfriendly, I guess. Because I always see people like talking against the the $1 pick 6 or the 50-cent pick 6, or which I think is good. I think pick 4s and pick 3s, if they were $1 base, they would be better. I think if tries were $1 base and exactas were $2 base, I think you'd see better payouts across the board. But
I can remember back in the day before 50-cent wagers existed. Pick 6s were all $2. None of them were jackpots. Pick 3s, pick 4s, daily. Pick 3, pick 4 were $1, and daily doubles were $2.
I personally still think that you can get fantastic value out of a 10-cent super, out of a 50-cent trifecta, out of a $1 exacta. I don't feel like it makes as market of a difference as the $1 pick 6 versus like a 20-cent jackpot, or the $2 daily double. Hell, just the $2 daily double versus the $1 daily double.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can look at Santa Anita with their short fields. There are daily doubles that play extremely well, even though it's just because of the extra base. What I really love about the Naira $1 pick 6 is that 5 out of 6 is a guaranteed consolation payout. Like, it will keep you in it. Like, you will probably turn a profit if you hit 506. Hell, let's look at what it did today.
It's 10% a pot, so hitting 5 or 6 actually pays fairly well when you are in $1 base. No, I'm completely agreed.
I don't hate the 5 or 6 payout. I think 4 or 5 is a little dumb, but I think 5 or 6 is good.
If it's me, I don't care about vertical bets because I don't play them that much. Pick 3s.
So the man who just hit a $10 exacta.
Well, I've had a couple bourbons. Pick 3s need to be $1. That's my biggest gripe. 50-cent pick 3 ruins pick 3s. You can spread too much, and the payouts get crushed. If you just compare the average payouts at Naira, which has $1 minimum pick 3s versus anywhere else, it's such a difference. The pick 3s are very attractive at Naira and just garbage at most other places. Pick 4s, I'd like to see $1, but I'm not going to fight somebody over 50 cents. Pick 5s, 50 cents feels right. And pick 6, I don't care if it's 50 cents or if it's $2, as long as jackpot bets go away.
So I just looked, and 5 of 6 for the $1 pick six today paid $298. Of course, the $1 6 of 6 paid $47,000 and $47,638. Jesus, I was so glad my single failed today because I would have blown my fucking brains out had I actually hit that pick six and not played it. Like I would have walked outside and just prayed for the rogue Chinese rocket to land directly on top of me.
I think Caleb sent me a very similar message earlier today as well.
Yeah.
I see John Massey saying that jackpot wagers are against the spirit of pari-mutuel wagering, and I kind of think that Caesar talking about the $2 pick six. Although I think Caesar's a big Golden Gate guy. We got to get him to start siphoning us some Golden Gate picks because
he's a big Hong Kong guy too, isn't he? Isn't he your Hong Kong buddy?
He's in the Hong Kong group as well a little bit. But we haven't really played Hong Kong. I don't think in like 3 months. But
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I've seen it. I've seen you play.
I've seen tickets.
No, I play Hong Kong. I'm just saying, as a collective group, we haven't played Hong Kong. So, is Denman coming back this year for Del Mar? Have they said no? I mean, like I said, not that I would mind listening to Colmus more. I like Colmus, but I don't know you guys.
I liked Rona.
I like Rona too.
WRONA.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a second, like,
yeah. Rona with the silent W. Rona. Was he South African? Was that?
I thought he's Australian.
I think he's South African. Because I thought he was Australian too, and then I saw an interview with him, and it turned out that he had staunch feelings about people with no legs killing their girlfriends. I just assume, since he's a South African also.
Well,
poor little tank.
On that note, I think that's going to do it for us. We are on the wrong lead. You can catch us at wrong_lead on Twitter. Chase, what time do you go live tomorrow?
At 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 Central. I'll probably be busting out moves like this. And then you roll the shoulder a little bit. Do a little heartbeat.
I'll be around. I'll be in Discord on Twitter. I'll probably be playing that Express Bet tournament because I don't really think I got anything else better to do. I think is it Santa Anita? I hope so because I just want to bet every single Kent DeSormo turf mount in Santa Anita.
I would say every single Kent DeSormo mount. Period. He's been just on fire.
Did they outlaw alcohol in Southern California?
Yeah, apparently yes. That's the only thing I can.
Yep. Caesar says press. Good luck this weekend. Good luck to you, Caesar.
Good luck, Caesar.
Let me know some of those Golden Gate winners because I think that's pretty much what I need to hit the stupid Golden Hour pick 4. But yeah,
there's a horse running a Lone Star named Trans Mississippi. Everything about that seems wrong.
But yeah, I know if you guys haven't signed up yet for AM Wager, I think they do have a new promo out. So check that out. I think it's a $250 bonus now for deposit plus their normal bonus. I think so. Check that out. We'll have a new link up on our YouTube when I decide to actually fix it. But yeah, until then, we will catch you guys later.